So this is part 4, 5, and 6. We're gonna do them all grouped together because I think they're really just so small and whatnot. So part 4 is types. Okay, types of spriting that you can think about attempting. Because again, I think, well, no, just never mind. Types. It's really a simple concept. Not everything you need to do not everything you need to try to do needs to be perfectly original or perfectly from scratch. Okay? So when I say there are three types, this is what I mean. There's the obvious one, which is you do a sprite completely from scratch. Okay? Completely. There's no base, there's nothing, there's nothing there in terms of like from the game. Now, of course, maybe you're basing it on something in Lord of the Rings or whatnot. But you're not basing it on any other pixel art really. You're starting completely from scratch. Okay, that's one way to do it, and that's of course. But there are definitely two other ways. Another way would be really modifying a sprite, taking a sprite that you're familiar with, okay, and you just taking it and starting to just change it, play with it, make it something different. You can make a completely new sprite just by doing that. And if you keep going for long enough, it will be unrecognizable from the original. But it doesn't need to necessarily be unrecognizable, right? I mean, there's lots of sprites in Dura that they're very similar to each other. And you can tell they kind of come from the same original base. So, um, yeah, the obvious one, yeah, you can do it from scratch, do it from nothing, right? But there is definitely uh, real value in taking something that's already existent, whether it's in Dura or it's some sort of other pixel art, and just modifying it a lot until you feel like you've achieved something that is on its own terms. The third type is a base. So it's a little different from modifying. A base is kind of where you can take kind of a blank sprite, like a model, or you can take another sprite, but you can just use it as like a conceptual starting point, right? And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So jumping into this is one of our. I'm not going to say who it is because honestly, I don't know. I don't know if they want to be known. Um, yeah, I don't actually know. But I'd be happy to give the person credit if they wanted to be known, and they were kind enough to do this. So this is actually off of Procreate software, which is Apple software. This is they created all things you're about to see. They created, um, and I'm not going to show you the whole video. You can watch the video because I'm going to post it as part of our stuff. But you can see in this video that maybe some stuff were from scratch, maybe, I can't remember, but a lot of stuff is actually a base. It's taking something that's already in the game and it's saying, hey, I'm going to make something new using this as kind of a launching pad, a starting point. So, um, yeah. I'll create this. This is one I want to show you. It's really fast. I believe the person starts with a pair. Yep. So you start with a pear, which is a Dura sprite already, and she's going to make a completely new fruit. Um, I mean, incredible. So the idea that you need to do things from scratch, no, it's not a thing. You need to be anyone who wants to try Sprite needs to be aware of that. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. Another example, perfect. Uh, the spriter, starts with an orange sprite as a base and says, "I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make a pomegranate, I believe." And I will provide this and other guides. We'll provide that as supplemental materials so you guys can look at it. And there's nothing missing here, by the way. Um, every pixel is accounted for. There's no steps skipped. So, okay, yeah, this is interesting, right? Started with a banana, and from a banana, they're going to create a leek. A leek is a type of onion. It's basically a big green onion. You can just see, oh, oh no, it's finished quickly. So, yeah, from a banana. I believe the next one, I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember where that came from actually. It starts with an apple, we get an onion. So, anyways, the point has been made. Oh, well, that's interesting. How does this start? Is this a chicken? Oh my god, it's a dead chicken. I completely forgot about this. And it gets turned into a fowl. Insanity. And of course, the blueberry. Blueberry gets turned into raisins. So, um, anyways, the point of this is that I definitely wanted to get down when it comes to this stuff, when it comes to spriting, you can do something from scratch. You can do something by taking it and just modifying it, or you can take something and use it as like a base, like a launch pad. And that's it. That's number four. Now, number five is software. Okay. Um, so uh, you can use standard stuff. I mean, look, all these sprites that are created, right? The original Dura sprites and whatnot. You're talking about the late 90s and the super, super, super early, like 2000, 2001, basically, or earlier. So, I don't know what the technology was that was available at that time, but it can't be a lot better than Paint and Paint.net. I'm going to be honest with you. So, what, so the cliche ones, everyone would think of, you can do this in Paint. You can do this in a program called Paint.net, which is a little superior. You can do it in Photoshop. Other programs that are probably a bit more advanced, there's a program called Pixel Art that I'm not familiar with. There's also a program Procreate, which is Apple, I believe on iPad. That's what this video is that I've just showed you. There's also a program that a lot of people in our department use called GIMP. And there is another program which is probably the most popular I'm aware of, which is Ace Sprite. And we'll detail all these in text and give links and whatnot. But that's the software that you can use to sprite, um, for whatever you're liking. Now, number six is where to start. So where to start? Um, it's pretty simple. You absolutely want to start with a 32 by 32. You don't want to do anything different. You want to start with something like we've talked about that is extremely straightforward, extremely simple in concept, and easy. So something that's one dimensional. You like this is my personal advice. If you're gonna start, you want to start with something one dimensional, super simple, super straightforward, easy to conceptualize, easy to process. The other thing, just like this video is just illustrated, you want to start using the base of other things. Again, you will be surprised to learn how many sprites really come from just other sprites. But by the time they're done, they're completely their own thing, and they really have deviated. I mean, so so that would be another piece of advice. If you want to do spriting and you're kind of starting out, you want to start with other things as a base. Um, Absolutely. The last thing I'll say, great, great way to start, is recreate something. Take something that's simple, like a fruit or a food, or a tool like a pick or a shovel or something, whatever. Take something really simple and just recreate it. Literally have your picture on your quote unquote left, put your software and your drawing on the right, and draw it. Like, just do that a couple times, and you'll really learn so much about how to sprite. It won't be frustrating either. No, it will not. I mean, a little bit maybe, but the point is, I mean, if you take your time, it's going to be hard to be frustrating because you're going to do it and you're going to copy it essentially by hand, and by doing that, you will learn very quickly of how this kind of really comes together on a more technical basis. Also, um, if you look to recreate something, I suggest something very simple. Start simple, start small. Last thing I'll say is number 7. We will supply. So this isn't really a technical guide. This is a guide where we're trying to give you a macro overview of how to approach Dura's art direction. And again, if and I think that's really the most important thing. Frankly, it's more important than the technical stuff. And plus, there's lots of guides on technical stuff, and whatnot. But if you don't even know what you're going for, then even if you have a technical thing, it doesn't really come out that way. So, um, anyways, but we will also supply lots of links and references towards technical guides that cover more advanced concepts. Um, like shading and dithering and anti-aliasing, or however you pronounce it, and all that type of stuff. So yeah. Okay. So that is the end of the guide. I guess we can talk about. I'll just say an outro. This is a macro guide, not to how to sprite, but how to sprite if you're trying to fit into Dura's art direction, right? Having and saying that, we do fundamentally believe that imagination and perseverance is a lot more important than skill and talent. And we really think that if you take this guide, you try to absorb it and understand it, and then you just give a little bit of effort, meaning, you might not get it the first time, but we believe after a little bit of perseverance, um, as I've said many times, it will be hard, I think, not to get it correct, meaning get a sprite where it doesn't fit Dura. And I mean, that's a very encouraging thought for us as a team, because we're very excited to really just broaden the world of what Dura can look like visually. Um, yeah. Um, so I think you should go in with some uh, real confidence that it's not so scary, it's not so difficult, um, as long as you abide these basic principles that we've laid out. One thing I was going to say is that we're dead serious when we say we want to put in any sprite that fits. If if anyone comes out with some sprites that just fit the art direction, they will go into the game without much delay or resistance. I mean, we will get them into the game. Um, yeah, I can't say more than that.